Okay, let's get right into it. Think about this. Deep inside you, right now, there is a hidden control system running absolutely everything, from your heartbeat to your breathing, and you don't have to think about any of it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and explore your body's amazing, invisible autopilot.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll break down what this autopilot actually is. Then we'll look at the two competing sides of the system. After that, and this is the cool part, we'll see how medicine can actually hack these systems. And finally, we'll wrap up with why this is one of the most important ideas in medicine, period.
All right, let's start at the top. What exactly is this system that's running in the background of our lives 24/7 without us even noticing? I mean, you've felt this, right? You don't consciously tell your heart, hey, beat faster now, or tell your hands, okay, time to get sweaty. Something else is pulling the levers behind the scenes, and that something is what we're here to talk about.
And that something is the autonomic nervous system, or the ANS. The name pretty much says it all. Autonomic, as in automatic. It's the part of your nervous system that handles all the vital stuff you don't have to consciously worry about. It is the ultimate multitasker, keeping you alive while you're busy doing, well, everything else.
But here's the thing. This system isn't just one command center. It's more like a constant tug of war, this perfect, delicate balancing act between two totally opposite forces. So let's meet the two managers of your internal corporation. On one side, you've got the sympathetic division. This is your fight or flight system. Think of it as the gas pedal. It revs you up for action, cranks up your heart rate, makes your pupils wider to let in more light, and pulls energy away from non-essential stuff like digestion. Then, on the other side, you have the parasympathetic division. This is your rest and digest system. It's the brake. It slows everything down, saves energy, lowers your heart rate, and gets to work on housekeeping tasks, like digesting your lunch. Now, I know this diagram looks a little busy, but it shows something really fascinating about how we're built. See how the fight or flight nerves branch out from the middle of the spinal cord? That design lets them send out a massive system-wide alert to tons of organs all at once. It's an emergency broadcast. But the rest and digest nerves, they come from the very top and very bottom of the spine. This lets them be way more precise, like little snipers targeting specific organs to tell them to calm down. It's the same organs, but they're being controlled by two different sets of wires with completely opposite jobs.
So how do these nerves actually send their orders? It's not just a simple electrical zap. They release these tiny chemical messengers at their destination. They're called neurotransmitters. And you know what? Understanding this is the key to basically all of modern pharmacology. This is where medicine gets incredibly smart. So let's jump into our first hack. See, if we can figure out the chemical messages, we can learn how to influence them. We're going to start with the rest and digest system, which in the medical world is called the cholinergic system. The main chemical messenger for this rest system is something called acetylcholine, or ACH for short. So it makes sense that any drug that messes with this chemical is called a cholinergic drug. And here's the crucial part. Drugs can do one of two things. They can either mimic the signal or block it. An agonist is a mimic. It pretends to be acetylcholine and turns on the rest and digest functions. An antagonist, on the other hand, does the exact opposite. It gets in the way, it blocks acetylcholine from doing its job, which shuts down the rest and digest response. And this isn't just theory. It has huge real-world uses. A drug like bethanical mimics ACH to help someone who can't empty their bladder. Then you have something like atropine, an antagonist, which is used in emergencies to literally block the rest signal to the heart, forcing it to beat faster. Or ipratropium, which blocks ACH in the lungs, making the airways relax and open up, a total lifesaver for someone with asthma. And check this out. This is a perfect example of how incredibly precise this all gets. We're looking at the bladder here. By creating drugs that only block one specific landing pad, the M3 receptor, we can calm down an overactive bladder without shutting down the entire rest and digest system. It's like molecular surgery. All right, so we've hacked the brakes. Now let's see how we can take control of the gas pedal, the fight or flight system. Medically, this one's called the adrenogenic system. The key chemical for the system is norepinephrine, which you can think of as adrenaline's close cousin. So any drugs that interact with this pathway are called adrenergic drugs. This diagram gives us a super close-up look at where the action happens. That top part is the nerve, and it's releasing those little dots. That's the norepinephrine. They float across that tiny gap and lock into the receptors on the other side, which triggers the fight or flight response. And the really clever part is that so many drugs work right here, in this tiny space, controlling how much of that chemical gets released and how long it sticks around.
And just like we saw before, it's all about agonists and antagonists. Adrenalic agonists mimic norepinephrine to kickstart that fight-or-flight response, and adrenalic antagonists do the opposite. They block it, stopping that response in its tracks. I bet you've used some of these and didn't even realize it. Phenylephrine, this stuff in a lot of cold medicines, is an agonist that shrinks the blood vessels in your nose to clear you up. Albuterol, in rescue inhalers, is an agonist that targets the lungs to open up your airways. And on the flip side, an antagonist like prazosin blocks the signal to help lower blood pressure. Now, there's one family of these adrenergic antagonists that's really famous, the beta blockers. Their main job is to block specific receptors, called beta receptors, that are all over the heart. By blocking that fight-or-flight signal, they basically tell the heart, hey, just calm down, no need to get so excited. And their uses are just incredibly cool and varied. Yeah, drugs like metoprolol and atenolol are workhorses for high blood pressure. But then look at propranolol. It's used for that, but also for performance anxiety. You'll have musicians or public speakers take it to block the physical symptoms of stage fright, the racing heart, the shaky hands, by literally blocking that fight-or-flight message. Okay, so we've looked at the gas, we've looked at the brakes, and we've seen how medicine can push either pedal. So let's just zoom out and bring this all together, because this is why this stuff is so fundamental to everything. We're not just talking about a few niche drugs here. The number of treatments, therapies, and life-saving medications that work by tinkering with this one single system, it's in the thousands. This is one of the absolute pillars of pharmacology. So the huge takeaway here is that by understanding the body's autopilot, this constant, beautiful balance between fight or flight and rest and digest, we've gained this incredible power to step in. We can design drugs that selectively turn these systems up or down, giving doctors a master control panel for some of our most critical bodily functions. From a simple case of nerves before speech to a life-threatening heart attack, our ability to hack the autonomic nervous system has completely transformed medicine. It really makes you wonder, right? Now that we've gotten so good at controlling the body's involuntary systems, what other complex system hiding inside us will we learn to master next?